I'm Corey from Vox Amps, and I'm here at Guitar Center excited to tell you about a couple of different amps that we came out with for our 60th anniversary. Next to me right now is the AC15 Super Limited Handwired 60th anniversary amp. What's significant about this one that differentiates it from the other AC15s we make is that this is a period-correct duplication of a 1957 AC15. And we call it a 4-hole input because it has high and low inputs for a normal channel as well as a vibe trem channel, vibrato and tremolo. The first thing we're going to go through is that vibe trem channel. Now it's a vibrato or tremolo, and you have controls for 3 different speeds and choosing between vibe or trem. And then you can activate it or deactivate it with the egg foot switch that is also period correct, included with the amplifier. And here's what that sounds like. So that was our vibe trem channel. Now I want to move over to the normal channel. This is significant on the AC15 because it has an EF86 front end on that normal channel. Now when I say front end, I'm talking about the preamp section versus the power amp section. The power tubes are EL84s, classic Vox chime and grind. The preamp on a lot of modern tube amps are 12AX7 type tubes. And what's significant about the AC15 normal channel here is it has an EF86 preamp tube in it, which has its own distinct, iconic sound. Has a little bit more upper mid-range and a little bit more of an aggressive bite to it. Now that's on the normal channel. And here's what that sounds like. The normal channel has a couple of different options for you. You have the normal sound, which is the EF86 preamp tube in all of its glory, but then we also have a brilliant switch that allows you to go to that classic AC15 top boost sound. And here's what that sounds like. Now I want to call attention to that brilliant switch because it's really significant, but I also believe it can be misunderstood. In the normal channel, whenever the brilliant circuit is turned off, you have a great big sounding 15-watt amp with a single 12-inch speaker, and it sounds nice and full, right? If we add that brilliant circuit, the top boost circuit for this, it actually rolls off a ton of the low end, and what's left is the mid-range, upper mid-range, and a lot of the top-end content. Now, if you're a bedroom player, or if you're playing by yourself, it might sound anemic or weird or just not a great sound to you. But that circuit is significant whenever it comes to recording. Now, in history, guitar players have really been drawn to really small amplifiers, low-watt small amplifiers in recording sessions because they get rid of all the frequencies that would compete with the rest of the tracks, right? When we add that brilliant circuit, what we're doing is getting some of that low-end content out of the way, and it fits so beautifully in a recording session or in a recorded mix. So if you're a bedroom recorder, if you're doing recording sessions, if you write songs, if you're actually gigging with a larger band, I'd encourage you to try that brilliant setting in the context of a larger ensemble, because you'll find that when you're on your own, it may not sound all that great, but in the context of a band, your AC15 is exactly where the guitar amp wants to live. Let's take a look at the top panel of this AC15 Handwired limited edition. You have your 4 inputs all the way to the left, and the first one is that vibe trem channel with your high and low inputs. To the right of that, what you have is your normal channel, high and low inputs. Moving to the right, you're going to have your controls for the vibe trem channel. So you have a 3-way switch for the speed, and then you have your choice between the vibrato or tremolo sound. If we move to the right of that, that's our volume section. So now we're going to have a volume for the vibe trem channel and a volume for the normal channel. If we move to the right of that, this is going to be our tone section. Our tone section lets us choose between having the brilliant circuit on or deactivated, And at the right of that, we have a knob for cut. That cut knob allows us to turn it all the way to the right and to cut the upper frequencies, or to make the amp a little more soft on the top end. If we turn that all the way to the left, we're not cutting any of the frequencies, and the AC15 has all the top end chime and content and articulation that have made these Vox circuits famous for 60 years. So that's the controls and the sounds of the amp. Now, what's significant about these 60th anniversary hand-wired amps is that they're period-correct recreations of these old amps that are iconic in our lineage. The one that we modeled here is a 1957 4-hole AC15. Now, when I say these are period-correct recreations, we didn't just make a hand-wired circuit and push it out into the market. We tried to go back to 1957 and see what these amps would look like and then put that into the market. So we went back and got UK wound transformers. We went back and designed it, built it, hand-wired it, everything in the UK. We went to Celestion and said, please make us some Alnico silvers for these 60th anniversary amplifiers. And it's not just the sound and the circuit, it's also the trade dress, the look of it. This is no standard Tolex or grill cloth. We went back to the original look, the original grill cloth, the original amp covering to try and make these things essentially souvenirs if you had a time machine. So that's the 60th anniversary hand-wired UK-made AC15. Now these are super limited, so if you're interested in the AC15, go to your local Guitar Center store or check them out on guitarcenter.com.